All right, let's try it again. Hey, welcome back, Liz. Do we got sound? Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm setting Obama's phone up. Second like it's retarded. Whoa. Hopefully we'll see that in the news. Now there's one song that I want to hear before we get started. Welcome to the Minister Brother Derek Show, and I am Minister Brother Derek. I want to hear that to get me in the mood. And that's the title of this song. I love you, Jesus. Welcome to the Minister Brother Derek Show, and I am Minister Brother Derek. We'll follow you wherever. I just want to say that I love Jesus, and that's the title of this song. I love you, Jesus. Let the devil deceive us. I love you, Jesus. Can't get enough. I love my Jesus. Well, people say to keep it real. But here's the deal. If you're not saved, your love you. If you're not born again, your future is in doubt. Your body won't get enough. I love my Jesus. But people say to keep it real. But here's the deal. If you're not saved, your mission is out. If you're not born again, you better realize. Your body wasn't made to black. You be surprised by the pain of a flame that never goes out. The pits of hell, but it keeps swelling up and that will release forever. So you gotta realize that you need God. You try to love the pain, that flame singing that never burns out. The pits of hell, but it keeps swelling up. Baby, bird, I'm gonna walk it in first. No, moment of certainty though, this will happen. Agony, if you come back and find I'm looking, Liz, I don't see anything. Burn, baby, burn. Word. Isn't no more. Burn, baby, burn. I'm gonna walk it in first. No. But certainty though, this will happen. I need to come back and find what you want to do. Kill no one. Make me a martyr. Give me a head start of the word. A fashion matter. So keep me in heaven. No one will ever keep on shacking up. Go in this ground. I can't pretend. What you want to do? Kill me? Make me a martyr? Found it. Give me a head start. Say, a fashion, right? I love you, Jesus. Keep on shacking up. Forget coordination. Wherever you lead us. I love you, Jesus. I just want to say, I love you, Jesus. Don't let that wherever you lead us. I love you, Jesus. 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 I love you, Jesus.
Welcome to the Minister Brother Derek Show. And now y'all finished the Brother Derek. I just want to say that I love Jesus. And that's the title of this song. I love you, Jesus.
I hope it's the right one.
We'll follow you wherever you lead us.
I love you, Jesus.
I love you, Jesus.
Wherever you lead us.
Don't let the devil deceive us. Can't get enough. I love my Jesus. But people say to keep it real. But here's the deal. If you're not saved, you're missing out. If you're not born again, your future is...
Show. Let's get it. All right. All right, Liz asked us to give a prayer for these victims, so let's check it out.
Search and recovery efforts continued uninterrupted throughout the night and morning as our teams worked tirelessly as ever to make progress on the collapsed site. Truly, it is a remarkable operation.
It is day 18 of search efforts in Surfside. The death toll now stands at 90, and the newly identified victims include 3 children. 31 people are still unaccounted for. Ever since demolition of what was left of Champlain Towers South exactly a week ago, the recovery mission has been going much faster. CBS 4's Bobeth Yates joins us live from Surfside with the latest on these efforts. Bobeth.
Well, Carly, even though the recovery efforts have been nonstop, it appears that it may be winding down. First news that the Israeli team left, and now an announcement that several other teams or task forces could soon be demobilized.
Virginia is in the process of demobilization, so they've already in that pipeline. It takes anywhere 24 to 48 hours in regards to demob. Also, New Jersey and Ohio we have on standby. So they're starting that process.
The news comes after Israeli forces who were helping with the operation flew home. Here you can see their heartfelt farewell as their plane left Sunday. But Miami-Dade Fire and Rescue Chief Alan Kamensky says not everyone is leaving.
We currently have Florida Task Force 1 from Miami-Dade, Florida Task Force 2 led by the City of Miami and other municipal departments, Indiana, Pennsylvania.
And regardless of the teams that have demobilized, officials say they are making progress, reaching the ground floor in at least one of the 9 zones. As of Sunday, the total number of confirmed fatalities rose to 90. 217 people have now been accounted for, and 31 are still potentially missing. Among the bodies found, Sofia Lopez Moriera, the sister of the Paraguay's First Lady. Lopez Moriera's husband, their children, and their nanny were among the rubble.
And our hearts and minds are always with those we've lost and with the families who are grieving and those that are still waiting. Our detectives are continuing to make progress in their audit and their diligent efforts of researching, verifying all reports on the unaccounted list and working with the families.
In addition to reuniting families with their loved ones, officials say they have an elaborate, systematic process in place to help connect people with their property.
We have a property and evidence section that's built there on the site. As property is recovered, and especially the religious property, we handle it with care. We try to recover everything. We catalog, document, they're put in containers and bins. We have a legal process in place, so as we move forward during this process, there'll be an estate process, and then there'll be of those that are the survivors, their property as well. Whatever we could recover, those will be returned.
Now, officials tell us 14 million pounds of concrete and debris has been removed from the site, and they say regardless of who's demobilizing or not, they will continue to be here until the job is done. Live in Surfside, Bobeth Yates, CBS 4 Today.
For those of you who live in areas where you got high rises, this can happen. A lot of inner cities, especially New York, a lot of places like Beverly Hills, places where people got money, they live in them nice high-rise apartments. Y'all got to realize this could be you. You know, as much as I moan and groan about being on the second floor, I think if the building collapsed, I think I could walk away. It's only 2 floors, and I'm on the second floor. All I got to deal with is the ceiling. But can you imagine, some buildings got 50 to 60 floors. Could you imagine being on the 5th floor and 50 floors fall on you? How are you going to survive that? Imagine being on the 1st floor. We got buildings that got 100 floors. Can you imagine? Nia says it'll be an archaeology dig for years to come. Yeah, they say there's still 31 people they haven't found yet. 31 bodies. That's just, it's unimaginable. But it could happen. I just find it strange that, you know, we've had like 3 collapses in the past week. Liz said what's terrible is the voice they heard but couldn't get to the woman. Liz, that's got to be some of the most heart-wrenching work trying to dig out survivors. Whether it be from out of fire, an earthquake, or a building collapse. You know, we build these things so that we can be in them. We build these things so that we can live in them. And we try to make money or save money by stacking people on top of each other. I believe it comes from the Indians. It might be the Pueblo when they used to carve homes in rocks and they used ladders to get up to their houses. Did that start with the Pueblo Indians? Nia says one rescuer saw his family members in the rubble. What was going through his mind to see his family members? And they talking about possessions. We are cataloging all the possessions. How they gonna know what belong where? I'd rather have my life than so you can keep the possessions, give my life. Dig me out. I can get new possessions, but I can't dig myself out that rubble. Get them people out. It might still be some alive. They say it's 31 unaccounted for. They worry about the possessions. I wouldn't worry about possessions. You know? That's all I'm saying. Liz said to remember them by. Liz said there's no way they are alive, BD. It's heartbreaking, Liz. You got a lot of people that instead of getting a house that's theirs, they'll go live in a fancy high rise. Remember the Jeffersons moving on up? They had that money, and yet they got that little teeny apartment. The Jeffersons had all that money. Oh, but it's been that long, 2 weeks? Oh, I thought it just happened. Oh, they've been 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, they gone. You can't go that long without eating. All that weight on you. Like I was saying, you know, the Jeffersons were so happy to live in that high-rise building. Why they didn't even go buy a house? Who the heck want to live in an apartment building and be, 40, 50 floors up in the air? I could never understand what was so great about that. I can see 1, 2, or 3 stories. After that, I don't want to live there. And it's challenging. I'm waiting for housing. I'm on the waiting list for housing. They might put me in a high rise like that. I hope not. I'd rather go down Cherry Hill and go down there with the drug dealers and the bums. I'd be on the first floor or the second floor. First floor or the second floor. I couldn't imagine having 30 floors falling on my head. So the next time y'all go into an office building, the next time you go into an apartment building, I want y'all to keep that in mind. That this could happen at any time. Now, you figure with all the technology and the archaeology and, the planning, that this wouldn't happen. But the whole building collapsed, the whole side of it. It wasn't just 1 floor or 2 floors. The whole thing went down. How do you prepare for that? Just pray it don't happen to you? How do you prepare for that? But to the people that's living in high rises right now, if you can do it, get out of them. Because it can happen at any time, any place. You see how the roads are not taken care of. You see how the bridges look like they ready to crumble. Are they really looking after? Are they really looking after these high-rise buildings like they should? Are they really being inspected? Are the foundations really being checked? It just gives you something to think about. But to all the families, you in my prayers. You lost your loved ones to something that might be a once in a 50-year occurrence. But unfortunately, that's part of life. You know, because I can tell you that people get on airplanes every day. Airplane travel is safe. But when it ain't safe, it's a big deal. People like to ride the trains. Riding the train is safer than taking an airplane, right? Not the train jump off the tracks. Not if it collide with another train. Getting in your car and getting on the freeway supposed to not be dangerous. Yes, it is. All it takes is for one person to make a mistake, and you did. Crossing the street. All it takes is for somebody not to be paying attention, you in the crosswalk, they go ahead and run you over. It's a lot of things that we do that are dangerous. And that's why we got to appreciate every moment that we have. Because it ain't promised. It could end just like that. And I don't know if I'm going to live to see it. But one day, we're going to be like the Jetsons. We're going to have cars that fly. And we're going to be flying everywhere. And the majority of us will never even see the ground. Them days are coming. How many people will die when those vehicles malfunction? And when the vehicles can fly, they'll start putting the buildings higher up in the air. Which means if we have a building collapse, nobody will survive. If it's actually hanging in the air and then it just falls to the ground, and they got it 2,000-3,000 feet up in the air, so we could be looking at more of these incidents. It's amazing how many people die every day, and you know, we cover it on the news, but people don't realize it. How many people actually die every day for stupid reasons? It's just amazing. Well, anyway, our topic today is Matthew. Let me pull it up for you. Because I saw the verse, And then I bookmarked some articles. But the verse is in the title. No, that's not it. Oops. Ain't it? Okay. We can use that one. Give me a sec here. This is our topic today. It's right. Matthew 10:28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. Let's read that again. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. What does that mean? Do not fear them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Y'all have to understand. What is your soul? Anybody want to answer that? What is a soul? A soul is another word for your spirit, your life force. Somebody can kill your body, but they can't kill your life force. Can we say this again? Someone can kill your body, but they can't kill your life force. They can't kill your soul. They can't kill your spirit. Why was this important back in Jesus' days? Why is it important today? I'm going to tie it all together for you. St. Paul is about 75% of the New Testament. You know that St. Paul killed more Christians than anybody. After Jesus died, the Romans wanted to crush anyone that believed in Christianity. And Saul, as he was known, took great pride in killing all the Christians. Whether they were Gnostic, whether they were Jewish, whether they were secular, didn't matter. He wanted to kill them. And that's why Jesus recruited them. He was so good at killing Christians. He was also good in teaching them. So Jesus took somebody that was negative and took their skills and made them to be positive. But Jesus said this before he died to his followers, because he knew they will be persecuted by people like Saul. He wanted to remind them, you are in it now. You are in a battle. The devil and his demons and his followers, and that includes people, they want to squash this. They don't want this religion to get out. They don't want the word to reach the people. They don't want it. Y'all understand? They don't want it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Comcast doing it again. Uh-oh. Comcast is doing it again. It's disconnecting, reconnecting. I'm just watching it. It's going back and forth. We'll just watch it go back and forth. Are we live again? Are we live? Are we live again? Somebody let me know. Are we live? Y'all notice we having technical difficulties for no reason. For no reason at all. I ain't mad about it. I expect it. So let's just get back to the sermon. We're not going to be disrupted. We're supposed to have high-speed internet. So why is it that it stops working for no reason at all? It just stops. For no reason at all. It don't do it. Because I can watch TV all day. It won't do it. But when we come to live stream, that's when it does it. Why is that? I tried to avoid this by using the StreamYards. We couldn't get no volume on the StreamYards. Y'all understand? But let's get back to the topic. As I was saying, the Romans wanted to crush the young Christian movement. And if you don't understand the power of Jesus Christ, not only did the Romans not crush the Christian religion, they adopted it. That's power right there. They also messed it up, but they adopted it. Spent years trying to crush it, and then wound up adopting it. A lot of people were killed because they believed. But see, somebody can kill you, but they can't kill your soul. Somebody can hurt you, but they can't break your spirit. This is the one thing you got to keep in mind. That's why I titled this, Why Is It That We Fear Everybody Else But God? God is the one person that can destroy your body or make it right. God is the one that can snuff your spirit or keep it alive. People don't realize we are spirit, but our spirit is encased in these mortal bodies. Nobody has never had an immortal body down here on earth. Nobody. Everybody dies. Whether through natural causes, whether somebody killed them, whether an airplane fell on them, whatever. Everybody dies. The body, the spirit, leaves the body once the body is done. You gotta remember, this is God's spirit that's in us. He takes our spirit back. People like to say the heart is the spirit. No, the heart pumps the blood. The spirit is in the blood. That's why you're not supposed to drink blood. The spirit is in the blood. That's why you see a lot of Satan worshipers, they drink people's blood. You know what I mean? They drink the blood because that's where the power is. The power is in the blood. That's why you see them drink the blood. That's why before you eat an animal, you supposed to do what? Drain the blood. When you did a sacrifice back in the old days for your sins, you killed the animal and you drained the blood and the fat on the altar. That animal life took the place of your life. So you wouldn't die for the sin. That animal died in your place. When you see people drinking blood in a ceremony, they're hoping to get the spirit of that person in them. That's why they do it. That's why you are not to drink blood. You are not to eat blood. Because the spirit runs through the blood. That's why some people won't get a blood transfusion. It'll save your life. But it might contain somebody's spirit and parts of their spirit in there. Some people get a blood transfusion and become a different person, have different tendencies. That's because the spirit is in the blood. They use heart as an example, but the heart pumps the blood through your body. But the spirit is in the blood. When you die, the spirit leaves the body. Nobody can kill your spirit or your soul, whatever you want to call it, or your life force. Nobody can kill it. The only way to kill it is to get thrown into the furnace of fire. That's the only thing hot enough to kill your spirit. That's why the condemned are held down in hell on a flame, but not enough flame to incinerate them, just enough to keep them in agony. Truthfully, nobody can kill your spirit. They can kill you, the body. They can't kill a spirit. And now that you know this, and you know that they can only kill your physical body, which is going to die anyway, why should you fear anything? Why should you be afraid of anyone? All they can do is just kill your body. If you haven't taken care of your body, what are you afraid of? If you near death, how can somebody put fear in your heart? You're right there anyway. Get out of my face. I don't care what you do. But I'm not going to let you do this evil in front of me. You might kill me. Now, somebody that's young might be concerned. Somebody that has young children to look after should be concerned. But as a Christian, if you are called to defend against evil, you can't be afraid of the evil. What can the evil do to you? Other than kill you, what can he do to you? He can't kill your soul. Think about it. I'll give you an example. Say you had a neighbor that bullied you. And every time you came down the block, whether you were going to work, whether you were going to the store or whatever, they would come out there and hassle you. After a couple times, somebody with common sense will go the other way and not go down by his house. Pretty soon, he'll realize that. And he'll come up and wait for you to come out your house so that you got to go past him. So does that mean that you should stay in your house and be scared to come out of it? Because you know he's going to be right there waiting for you? What can he do to you? Harass you? Put his hands on you? you look him in his face and say, I'm going where I got to go, get out my way. You ain't going nowhere. Yes, I am. He's either going to yell at you while you walk away and go where you got to go and continue on with your business, or he's going to try to restrain you. At some point, he's going to get tired or bored, and he'll leave you alone and go find somebody else to pick on. Worst case scenario, he might get violent. But no matter what he does, you got some place to go. And if one of the times you come out your house and he does something to you, you don't buckle. You don't run back in the house. You stand there and look him right in the eye. You can hit me all you want. You can threaten me all you want. But you can't take my spirit. So go find somebody else to go bother. I got the power of the Holy Spirit in me. When even if you take my body, you can't take my soul. And if you are allowed to take me off this earth, I've been called. You got to fear the one person that can keep you from getting to paradise. It's actually two people. The Father and the Son. They have the ability to take your spirit, your soul, your life force. No human being can. No angel can. No demon or devil can. Only those two. And Jesus is in charge. He's the one that's going to decide whose life force gets ended and who gets to continue on. He decides it. So for you to be scared of what the government going to say, for you to be scared of what the mayor going to say, for you to be scared about the principal at your school going to say, for you to be scared what the FBI going to say, the DEA, who cares? They can't take your life spirit. They can imprison you. They can put you to death. They can't take your life spirit. And if you're a real Christian, you looking forward to getting to paradise. So somebody taking you out early gets you on the fast track to paradise. So why are you afraid? Why you let somebody intimidate you? Why you let somebody punk you? I'm asking the question. Why do you let somebody punk you? How can somebody punk you? Why are you afraid of people who can't really do nothing to you? All they can do is hurt your body. Your body going to get old and die anyway. Why should you live in fear? I'm asking the question. Because, you know, fear runs the world. Oh, you better not bother him, you know, because his brother, the leader of that gang, you better not bother him because he know the mayor. You'll be getting parking tickets and everything. You got people that live in fear. Fear. A lot of the dictators that are leaders of these rogue countries, they do it by fear. That's why some of y'all get mad at me when we were talking about the people that was doing that migrating, leaving their country that they live in to come to the United States out of fear. Instead of picking up something and going up to their own capitals and beating the soldiers and them in the head and taking back their country, they want to come run their eyes. What make you think we want you? You cowards. You got your own country and you won't stand up? You ain't going to stand up for us? We what you for? Y'all got mad at me. Some people were walking for months just to try to reach the United States border instead of picking up something and busting somebody in the daggone head. This is our country. You ain't running us out of here. The heck with you. We gonna take you out or we gonna die trying. Ain't that how we got the United States? Ain't that how we got free from Britain? Ain't that how we beat up the Indians? Ain't that how we beat up the Spaniards and took Florida? Then we beat up the French, take the Pacific Northwest. We didn't do it by cowering. It wasn't done by whining. But when I look around, that's what I see, people whining. Truth of the matter is, if you so concerned about police brutality, why you stand there and let it happen? The majority of the time, the people that's getting shot and tased and beat by the police ain't worth a darn anyway. But if you apt to defend them, instead of putting up a teddy bear on the pole after they did already, why don't you do something while it's going on? Why don't you do something while it's going on? See, that's the difference between somebody being real and somebody that's full of crap. Because if you know it's drug dealers on your block, instead of mumbling under your breath and whining to everybody else, why don't you go out there and bust them in the head? Tell them get off your block. If you was real. But no, you're afraid of the retaliation. And if you are afraid, the devil is one. He's going to make you afraid to the point that you're going to get thrown in that furnace. As I keep telling you, when you see evil and you pay it no mind, what do you think Jesus and God think? If you can do something about it and you don't even ask them to do something about it, what do you think they think? You don't even bother to ask. Y'all realize that it's 81 degrees here and it's 9:52 at night? How is that possible? At nighttime? Let me turn the fan on high. It's 9:52. The sun ain't gone down a long time ago. It's still 81 degrees. That's crazy. I'm afraid to see what the humidity is. But I asked the question, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Why do we live in fear? if you a child of God, how do you live in fear? You supposed to fear God and Jesus Christ. You supposed to fear what they think of you, not fear what your neighbor think of you, not fear what your boss think of you. You got people that's worried about what people they don't even know think. They won't even guard the door. You know, they gonna make fun of me. You know, I shaved my head today. Now, I used a mirror, and I probably might have missed a few spots. Do you think I care? Ask the question. Do you think I care? I might go out inside and say, you missed a spot. Why do you care? Why are you looking at my spot? It's cut, ain't it? There you go. Well, you know, one side of your mustache is a little, shut up. Mind your business. Do I look presentable? Then shut up. Look at it right there. Shut up. See, you let people worry you about stupid stuff. Well, you know, I can't go out the house unless I got this jacket on. I can't go to school unless I got my Timberlands. It's wintertime. You got to have Timberlands. If not Timberlands, you got to have lugs. You got to have one or the other. They're going to make fun of you. Can't wear my Lees to school. They're going to make fun of me. These are just small examples of how fear runs your life. Fear. You can't let fear run your life. If I let fear run my life, there's no way I'll be out there riding in the street with traffic. Any one of them cars could knock me in the middle of next week. I'm not showing fear. I trust. Those little technical problems that we have, gotta get the devil something. That's how I look at it. Why are we having this problem? Hey, I ain't get hit. I'm still breathing. The bike still work. I'm good. These other little things, this camera not working out. We can fix that. That's not a reason to not do the lives. Well, you know, for some reason, everything going wrong, I guess we ought to quit. No, that's when you fight harder. The devil wants you to quit. He don't want you to be successful unless you're doing his work. If you're doing his work, he'll help you. You working against him, he'll try to destroy you. But he can't only do so much. You got to help him. You have to help people hurt you. If you know that you parked in this parking spot for 10 years, you gonna let some young buck come tell you, I'm taking your spot? I'm not saying die for a parking spot, but at least stand your ground. No, man, I've been parking here for 10 years, man. What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? You new here. You're a new jack. I had to earn this spot. Now you got to earn your own. Now he go and come back with 5 people with guns, then all right, bro, you can have it. As I'm different. I ain't saying be stupid, but at least stand your ground. Get your respect. The fact that he would have to go back. The fact that Liz says park somewhere else. Well, if you do it without putting up resistance, then every young cat that move on your block is gonna be messing with you. You might have some old folk that been living there for 30 years. They gonna get knocked out that spot. Because the younger folk don't say nothing. What can the older folk do? You got to realize you might think that what you do don't affect somebody else. Just like when I moved to the old building. They were dealing drugs out that laundry room. And I pulled up one day, and you know the red door is the laundry room, and the white door went to the apartment downstairs and the apartment upstairs. And I lived in both of them. You know, the young dude said, "Hey, what you doing here?" Like, MFer, I live here. I mean, what am I doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? I live here. You live here? No. Why are you asking me what I do? What are you doing hanging around the laundry room? You gonna tell me I can't park my car next to the door I go in? This was somebody that didn't even live in the building. I told the landlord about it, and he put a lock on the door. They could have came back and shot the place up. But you still had to stand your ground. You don't run from home. You don't let nobody chump you out at your home. Now, I didn't put my hands on them. But I let them know this is where I live. I don't care who you work for. I don't care who you run for. But this is where I live. This is my home. It's not yours. Go to your home. You're not going to run me out from where I live at. You ain't paying my rent. You can't tell me nothing. And you want to pay some bills, then maybe you can tell me something. You look them right in the eye and let them know you ain't going for this. Now, like I say, sometimes it's locked up, and sometimes that door ain't locked up. But I ain't seen that dude again. Ain't nobody ever came looking for me. But you gotta let people know some things you're not gonna stand for. Because fact of the matter is, if somebody come looking for him, why can't that bullet go through the wall and come into my place? Or go into somebody else's wall and kill a child or something? but you had the opportunity to say something, but you didn't. And then you on the news, well, this been going on for a while, nobody don't say nothing. What good is that? That's all I'm saying. What good is it? You saw the evil. You had a chance to say something about it, do something about it. You chickened out. And now somebody's in the hospital with dead because you were too afraid to say anything. You got to fear Jesus and God. They the ones that can really kill you. Not nobody down here on this earth. Not no demon floating around. They can only take your body. There's a scripture that says that if a man is willing to save his life, he'll lose it. What does that mean? If you're more concerned about what's going down here in the earth and not concerned about getting up off it, you're going to lose your life force. You're going to lose it. Another scripture. What good is it for a man to have all the wealth in the world and he loses his soul, his life force? So he'll live big while he down here, but then he going to sit in baby hell, and then he'll get thrown in the lake of fire. $80 years or less down here, or 1,000 years on the hot coals, or however long when God tells Jesus to come back. You don't know how long it's going to be. Think about it. It already been, if you believe the Roman calendar, it been 2,021 years, if you believe the Roman calendar. That's a long time. Them people have been sitting down there in agony burning. That's a long time. Why are we such a rush to go join them? Why are we in such a rush to go join them in that agony? Because that's where you're going. That's why I asked the question. Why is it that we fear everything other than what we should? Why do we fear everything other than what we should? Somebody gonna beat you up. Sometimes you gotta take a good whooping. Somebody might shoot you in the leg or arm. If you're standing up for something that's right, sometimes you gotta take it. If it's your time to go, you're gonna go. If it ain't your time to go, they can shoot you 9 times, 10 times, 20 times. You'll still recover. If it ain't your time to go, so what are you afraid of? Because if you do go, that means you called. And if you called, you going to the paradise side. Poodle on what's going on down here. I'm up there in paradise, poodle y'all. No aches, no pains, no worries, no bills. What am I scared of? You walking with Jesus and God, what are you scared of? I don't like to think about this because it happened, and I ain't proud of it. I was walking I used to work out on Woodlawn, and Woodlawn is one end of the county. Now, when you cross into the county, it's supposed to be safer. So I was in the county. But the problem is the county ain't what it used to be. Because, see, a lot of the hooligans and move to the end of the county, right there before the line. Sometimes it's more dangerous to be near that line than it is to actually be in the city. Because you got hooligans that used to live in the city, and whether it be through drug money or any other, now they in the county. Their attitudes and ways ain't changed. They just live in a better part. Still the same hooligans. I had got off the bus and I said, you know, I feel like walking home. So I got off the bus and I started walking. I was enjoying the neighborhood. Bus pulled up. See, when they put a bus system in a neighborhood, it's going to ruin it. And about 25 boys got off of it. And it was an apartment complex. And I figured that's where they were going. I tried to avoid them across the street. Out of the 25, 3 of them came across the street. The other 20 was like, what are y'all doing? But they stopped anyway. And so the dude said, give me your money and your Walkman. I told him, get out my face. The dude reached in his jacket. Now, I had a little thing of pepper spray. And it was the kind that had that red top, you push your thumb around. I went to go spray it, and a little spaz came out. Now the other boys are coming across the street. I remembered that I only had a $10 bill on me. I had a $10 bill on me. And some change. I kept the 10, but I threw the change. That's all the money I got. And I walked off. And they was down there picking the change up. I kept right on walking. Didn't nobody roll up. I was good to go. Even though it was 25 of them. I came home without a scratch and still had my $10 and my Walkman. Another scenario. I don't know why I always got $10 in my wallet. I was working at Roy Rogers. And because it was on Route 40, and Route 40 goes through Baltimore City, from the county through the city and back out. It's Route 40, then it's what do you call it? It's Route 40, then it's Eastern Avenue as it comes to the city, Then it changes names again as it go through downtown. And then you get on the freeway, that little itty bitty freeway they never finished, and come off it, and it's called Mulberry Street. But it's still Route 40. Then it turns into Emerson Avenue, and then it goes out to the county, and then it becomes Baltimore National Pike. It's the same Route 40. It just keeps changing names, right? And I had got off work early, and I got paid. Now, minimum wage was $3.35, and I was making $3.85. And I worked overtime. So I got like $150-something check. But I hadn't cashed it yet. But since I got off early, I had some money on me. I decided to go to Walgreens. Not Walgreens, Montgomery Wards, I'm sorry. I don't think they're around anymore. Montgomery Wards, y'all remember that? They used to be the Target. They used to be the Walmart. Back in the day, you had Sears, Montgomery Wards. Y'all remember back in the day? Some of y'all might be too young to remember. Well, we had Montgomery Wards. I went in there, and I bought a keyboard. Brand new keyboard. And I paid $102 for it. And I got some other stuff. Cables and wires and a microphone. And I was going to come home and make some music. It's a bus stop right there at the same shopping center. There's a Giant Food there and other stores. But I got on the bus. And so I'm lugging this stuff down the hill, and as I turn into my complex, young dude came out with a rifle and said, "Give me all you got." I'm carrying all this stuff. And I thought, I wonder, if I throw the stuff down, and start fighting with this dude, because he was the rifle was bigger than he was. If I throw this stuff down, is somebody going to come by and take my new keyboard and stuff? Because I had $150 worth of stuff I was carrying in the bags. And I remember, you know what? You got $10 in your wallet. And see, I never carried a man's wallet. I like to carry the pouch. So you can have the change in there and your ID cards and all of that. So I reached in while I'm still carrying the stuff, threw the $10 bill and the change, and kept right on walking. Picked my stuff back up and kept right on walking. Now he shot me, My brother came the next day and said, "I heard you got robbed." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess you can say that. You got robbed by that little guy." I looked at him and I said, "Look at all the stuff I had. Was I supposed to sit it down, start fighting with him, cause a scene, and everybody come take my stuff when all I had on me was $10 and some change?" And that's what he got. He got $10 and some change. I had $150 worth of equipment on me. And I had a paycheck for $100 and something on me. I went out the next day and cashed my paycheck and didn't even think about that. So technically, I had $300 worth of stuff on me. That dude got a $10 bill and some change. He shouldn't have got nothing, because I should have took that gun from him and stuck it up his butt. But I had to realize to sit that stuff down and to fight, was it worth it? It was more annoying that my brother was trying to rag me over $10 than the actual incident was. Because truthfully, I could have threw the bags at the guy and made him drop that gun. Remember now, I had a keyboard. Keyboard this long. I could have threw it at his face or swung it at him. He had a rifle like this, sideways. All this is open. I could have, but here's the thing. Would it have been worth it? Suppose it was real. Suppose the dude was fast enough to get a shot off anyway. You have to balance. You got over $300 worth of stuff on you. Now, if I had gave him the $10 and the change, I threw it on the ground and made him pick it up, and I walked off. If he'd have came up behind me, then we got the rumble. But if he was willing to take the $10, then go about your business. I wouldn't cash my check the next morning, and I had $160 in my pocket. What, you know what I mean? But I tell you this, if I see him again, I'm going to throw him in front of a car if I ever see him again. And if you're listening, come see me. But the point is, he got what he wanted, but didn't get what he could have got. In the story before, I could have been getting banked by 25 guys. Instead, I lost some change and got to walk away without a scratch. Second incident, yeah, I gave up $10, but I got my $300 worth of stuff in the house with me unscratched. And nobody in that complex ever bothered me. Nobody did beforehand, nobody did afterhand. I didn't let it bother me. The fact that he didn't take, he didn't take the stuff that I really valued. $10 is nothing. But those songs that you hear were made off of that keyboard. A lot of the songs you hear me play, half of them was made on that keyboard. If I had to set that stuff down to fight with this dude and try to disarm him, other people would have came out and looked, and they would have came and took the stuff. Then the money I had just spent, I would have had to cash my check, ride back up there, and spend that money all over again. Instead, I lost $10 when I got $150. I'm sorry, 107. Well, it was either 160 or 170 dollar check in my pocket. Not to mention I had $140 worth of equipment on me. I had cables, microphones. And I went and I made my first song that night. And I still have it today. I play it for y'all every once in a while. I play it for you every once in a while. It's not the greatest song, but it wouldn't be a first song if I had just listened and worried about ego, and I wouldn't have that song. I made this song that night.
Yo, this is Brodero. So now you know I'm ready to flow. If you got a problem with that, that's too bad. Let's get to it. Number one man.
I made this song.
Well, now you know about the one-man show.
Years old. I'm still around.
You can't confuse me with that young crap. Hit that hip hop jump to the gap. Go pimp it at the mall. I found your tape in the bathroom stall, and I think that proves that your shit stinks. I'm Derek, the missing link. I'm too clever to survive anywhere. So let's make it last forever. Well, now you know about the one-man show. But now you know about the one-man show. I'm out.
Oh, let it play. Second song ever made.
One-man show. So now you know, baby. This I like to call banging the box. This is me. Here we go. Yeah, can you feel that? Yeah. My bubble like dark is back on this set. So place your bets because I'm ready to wreck. You young punk, you think you know what you're doing. I'm telling you something, you don't know shit. So you better quit before I come get ya. I'm Brother Dirk, son. You can't get with me and I'm not with you. What can you do? You better go run and hide behind your crew. You better get your gas, cause I'm ready to attack. Don't bring that flat, son. You better bring the map on how to rhyme. The dark is coming to kick your behind. I got my skills.
No, the sermon ain't over with.
And I'm hell bent on displaying it. So sit back.
I just want to hear the beatboxing.
It all comes from me, from my soul. That's why I know I hit the goal, son. Nobody else can rhyme like this because when I go, you know I'm shooting the gift. When I'm on the mic, I always rock. So check it out because I'm banging the box. Second verse, son, you better call a nurse. You better.
Alrighty. Yeah. But song might not have got made. Who knows? I might not have went back. Because I would have had to spend almost the whole check to buy that stuff all over again. There might not be any Brodero songs. Because see, that's something that the devil can do to stop you. If I had to put that stuff down and been out there wrestling with somebody over a rifle while all the other people was picking up my stuff and running with it and trying to decide who gonna get what. I'm getting the keyboard. I want the microphone. I want the tape recorder. I want the cassette tapes. People over there fighting over my stuff. Sometimes you got to use common sense. Sometimes you got to use common sense. There might not be no songs. Suppose the next day I decided, heck with it. I wouldn't have all these songs. But half an hour after I got in the house, I was making music. I forgot all about that. Do y'all understand? The devil will give you roadblocks to see if he can stop you from progressing. A lot of people can't stand my music. And I love to throw it in their face. I used to go to the car wash, play my music. People would come by, what the heck is this? Who that? I used to love it. Plug the Obama phone up. Battery getting low on it. So I just was showing y'all an example. If you let somebody get in the way of you doing something, you let somebody intimidate you, I didn't change not one habit that I did. I still like to work late at night. I was a young man, young teenager. But as you can see to the day, I prefer to go out at night. Why is that? Shouldn't I be afraid to go out at night? To sit here and say that I'm not afraid would be a lie. But I know I got Jesus and God with me. And sometimes you'll hear me say, where you at? Why are you allowing this to happen? I know you got something better planned down the road, but like, why? And this is something that we all have to realize. As sick as it is, as sad as it is. But see, I'm not perfect. I'm imperfect just like you are. To my imperfect eyes, the fact that the devil can go and snitch on us and can go ask to do things to us, and they don't bust him upside his head, I don't understand it. I'm being honest. I don't get it. But if he can, that means you ain't doing right. That means you got to do better. Remember the story of Job? Devil was able to go up there. And see, Job wasn't walking with God. But God said, look at him. The most upright man on earth. Devil knew he wasn't walking with God. He said, let me have him. God said, you can do whatever you want to do to him, but you can't kill him. If you're being tested, there's a reason you're being tested. There's a reason for it. The devil can go and ask, hey, did you hear about Liz? Did you hear about what Naya did? Yeah, you should let me go in there and get him. You ain't in total harmony. Why not? Go in and lick a fire anyway. If he ain't walking with Jesus and God, go ahead. First, I couldn't understand that until we did that show when Naya asked about the book of Job. I avoided that chapter of the Bible. I couldn't understand it. Why would God let the best person on earth, he was the best person at doing things, but he didn't have a strong relationship with God. Do you have a strong relationship with God? If you do, can't nothing down here on earth cause you to lose your soul, your spirit, or your life force, whatever you want to call it. Nothing can get in the way. The two things that I told you that really happened to me in my life happened for reasons. The first reason was, instead of riding the bus home, I really enjoyed walking home. But I worked late at night. I was a teenager, probably about 15, 16. But I loved to be out at night. But see, people see you. And one day they're going to come try you. Now, I still walked home. There was a guy on the job that was going into the military. And he would get off work and he would go jog home. And he invited me to come with him one day. I couldn't keep up with him. So I started walking on my own. And I really enjoyed the exercise, the fresh air. I got to walk through the county and see how the people who had a little bit of money lived. I really enjoyed it. You see how I enjoy myself when I ride through them nice neighborhoods. It really made me happy. And I love talking about it. I would go to school the next day and say, hey, this is what I saw last night and check this out and whatnot. Devil didn't like that. So let me get him robbed or beat up, and then he be too afraid and he'll ride the bus home. He'll only have stories about what happened on the bus, which normally is nothing. I had been dreaming about getting a keyboard ever since somebody had got me one of them little cheap little $20 ones from Radio Shack. I have been dreaming of getting a keyboard. Not no itty bitty one, but a full size one. And if I had let the devil get his way that day, I probably wouldn't have gotten the keyboard for another 4 or 5 years. I'd have been like, well, I still got to bring it home. Maybe I shouldn't get it. Yeah, no. But I had saved up for that keyboard. Like I said, I was working overtime at $3.85, and I was earning, at the taxes, no children. I was a child. They were killing me in taxes. But I brought home $160, $170 every week, and I would save $20 or $30 a week. Sometimes I could only save $10. My only bill, I had to pay the cable bill, and that was $80. That was my bill at the house. I had to pay the cable bill. It was $80. If I got home and there was something in the refrigerator, it was something in the microwave for me, great. If it wasn't, oh well. I started bringing food home from the restaurant. To the point everybody was waiting on me. Hey, you got some chicken today? Hey, you got some biscuits? Hey, you got some burgers? What did you bring home? I ain't never been rich in my life. But until 2017, I had never hit a low. That's why I say I look back on my life, I could have done better. We all could have done better. I could have done better. I could have been a lot more than what I was. A lot more than what I was. But I donated my time to charity. I helped the drug addicts. I've done a lot in my little life. If I could do it over again, I would. I would have finished Bible college. Would have done community college. And instead of trying to find ways to get rich quick and spend all that time running schemes that didn't go nowhere, if I'd have just put my nose to the grind and just worked, I could have achieved my goals. If I could do it again, it would be a different outcome. But you can't do it again. And so I say to y'all, what are you afraid of? Who are you afraid of? Are you afraid of disappointing your mother or father? Are you afraid of disappointing your children? Are you afraid of disappointing your husband or wife? Are you afraid of disappointing your neighbors? Are you afraid of disappointing your boss? Are you afraid of disappointing your mayor? Are you afraid of disappointing your congressman? Are you afraid of disappointing your president? You should be afraid of disappointing Jesus and God. And if you ain't, you're lost. Because all them other people I mentioned can't do a darn thing for your life source. They can't do nothing to save it. Because we all are going to die. And I don't mean dying down here on earth in this body. The body's going to die. But the real death is going to occur on Judgment Day. That's your real death. But I told y'all what I thought. Let's actually go into Scripture and see what Jesus said. I pulled that scripture from out of this chapter 10. I've used this before, and I thought I would bring it back. It's called Jesus Sends Out the 12. Jesus called his 12 disciples to him and gave them authority to drive out impure spirits and to heal every disease and sickness. These are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, who was called Peter. You had two Simons and you had two James. I want y'all to keep that in mind. You had two Simons. The Simon that is most known was the leader of the church. Jesus appointed him the leader of the church. After his death, the Romans declared their own pope as the leader of the Christian church. You need to understand that. But Simon Peter and his brother Andrew, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. So the first James and his brother John. And we know John because John wrote a gospel. Philip and Bartholomew didn't do much. Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector. Now we know Matthew because he wrote the Gospel of Matthew. Thomas is known for being the non-believer. When Jesus appeared to the apostles, they was hidden up in the room in fear, Thomas wasn't there. And Thomas didn't believe him until Jesus came and showed him his wounds. That's why they say don't be a doubting Thomas. That's where that phrase comes from. So Thomas and Matthew with the tax collector. James, you got another James. So it's a James with John, and their father was Zebedee. And there's also James, son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot. So this is the other Simon. And Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions. Do not go out among the Gentiles or enter any town of Samaritans. Go rather to the lost sheep of Israel. As you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, and cleanse those who have leprosy. Drive out demons freely. You have received, freely give. Don't get any gold or silver or copper to take with you in your belts. No bag for the journey, or extra shirt or sandals, or a staff, for the worker is worth his keep. Whatever town or village you enter, search there for some worthy person and stay at the house until you leave. As you enter the home, give it your greeting. If the home is deserving, let your peace rest on it. If it is not, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet. Truly I tell you, it'll be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment for that town. Now keep in mind what Jesus said. Don't take anything with you. Why would he tell them, don't take anything with you? True believers that really enjoy and accept what you have to say, they're going to take care of you. So you don't need anything. This is why I love when people say that they're not going to put nothing in the collection plate. They don't need no money from me. They doing all right. You're going to have to deal with Jesus on Judgment Day. Jesus continues, I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. Be on your guard. You will be handed over to the local councils and be flogged in the synagogues. On my account, you will be brought before governors and kings and witnesses to them and to the Gentiles. But when they arrest you, do not worry about what to say or how to say it. At that time, you will be given what to say. For it will not be you speaking, but the Spirit and your Father speaking through you. That's why when it comes to the sermon, I don't do no studying. I don't study. I just come do it. Why? I know I'm going to be given what to say. A lot of people spend hours studying and studying. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But that's why they sound so rehearsed. The Spirit going to tell you what to say. If the Spirit not telling you what to say and you got to spend a whole week getting together a sermon, you ain't real. You rather be taught by man or taught by the Spirit. I don't want to say what man says. All men ain't trustworthy. Jesus continues, brother will betray brother to death, and a father, his children will rebel against their parents and have them put to death. You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. When you are persecuted in one place, flee to another. Truly I tell you, you will not finish going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. The student is not above the teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for students to be like their teachers and servants be like their masters. If the head of the household has been called Beelzebul, how much more are the members of his household? If the head of the household is called the devil or demon, how much more are the people that live in the house? Devils or demons. So do not be afraid of them, for there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. What is whispered in your ear, proclaim it from the roofs. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Can I say that again? Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Soul, your life force, your spirit. People can kill the body, but they can't kill a soul. This is out of Jesus' mouth. But be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Be afraid of God, not anybody else. Only God can do this. Whoever acknowledges, are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny, yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. And even the very heads of your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. If you walking with God, what you got to worry about? Whoever acknowledges me before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. Hold on. Let's catch this real quick, because I don't want y'all to get by this. Whoever acknowledges Jesus before others, Jesus will also acknowledge before the Father in heaven. Can I read this again? Whoever acknowledges Jesus before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. This is more proof you have to go through Jesus to get to God. But if you won't acknowledge Jesus, you ain't got no shot. You more worried about what somebody on the street say. You more worried about what somebody on YouTube say. You more worried about what the police say. You more worried about what your neighbors say. You more worried about what your parents say, what your children say, what your mates say. You more worried about what they say. You ain't worried about what Jesus got to say. That religion stuff, I ain't paying for mine. But listen to this. But whoever disowns Jesus before others, Jesus will also disown before the Father in heaven. That's why I always say, before you make a move, always ask yourself, what would Jesus do in the same moment? What would Jesus do? What would he do? If you don't, you're not walking with him. If you're not walking with him, he's not going to tell the Father about you. You can pray all you want. Nobody going to pay you no mind. Nobody going to pay you no mind. Start all your prayers should start with, in the name of Jesus. Get his attention. Call his name so that he can hear you. When he thinks you're ready, he'll let your words reach the Father. Jesus says, do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I had, hold on a second. Now I told y'all in Revelations, when Jesus comes for the final battle, he's going to have a sword in his mouth and going to be cutting everything up. So don't think that he coming back singing Kumbaya, my love, hey, Kumbaya. No, the final battle, he coming to kill those that still on the earth. For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. Hold on a second. I thought Jesus was supposed to come back and be nice. I thought he was supposed to come back and be loving. Isn't that what they tell you? He said, I didn't come to bring peace, but a sword. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds their life will lose it. And whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. This sounds like somebody coming back here to play tiddlywinks. So somebody coming to play jumping jacks. This sounds like somebody that's coming back to play with the hula hoops. But every time I turn on something supposedly religious, they paint Jesus as this punk. He telling you he ain't. But why do we think he a punk? I want y'all to understand. Whoever finds their life will lose it. I mentioned something about this earlier in the sermon. See, things tie in. Even when the Spirit telling you something, things tie in even when you don't see it. Whoever finds their life will lose it. What does that mean? If you're more concerned about things down here, if you're more concerned about wealth, being accepted, things that ain't got nothing to do with Jesus and God, you're going to lose your life. You're going in that lake of fire. But whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. If you are doing something that Jesus will want you to do, and somebody kills you, you got a direct, fast-pack, fast train. You on the highway to paradise. You on the express. Yeah, you might lose your body, but God darn it, you straight for the rest of eternity. We should be worried about that than worried about somebody shooting us. We should be more worried about that than worried about somebody stabbing us. We should be more worried about that than worried about somebody beating us up. Because if you are allowed to die in the name of God or Jesus, woo child, you on a fast track to paradise. You on a fast track. You ain't got to worry in the world. You straight. And see, here's the thing. People say, well, if I stand up and I get killed, what's going to happen to my family members? What's going to happen to my loved ones? If they are doing what you're doing, you're going to be reunited in paradise. If they ain't doing what you're doing, you ain't going to never see them again. But as I found out when I Googled about anybody worrying about what happens if during the rapture they get taken and their family members don't, only one article pulled up from around the world. 1 billion people on the planet, only one article popped up. You want to know why? Because most people so selfish, they not thinking about their loved ones. They thinking about themselves. Am I going to heaven? Put on you. I'm trying to get in there. We can only find one article. I'll never forget that day because Nia was asking me something, and I couldn't answer it. There was only one article, and we were reading it. There was no other article on that. What happens if I go and my loved ones don't go? There wasn't not one article on that. Nobody cared. They worry about themselves. Let that marinate. Let that marinate. Nobody thinks about, hey, are you going to? They think about me. I got to get in there. They ain't thinking about nobody else. That's how selfish we are. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet as a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person as a righteous person will receive a righteous reward. And if anyone gives even a cup of water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward. So I ask again, what are you afraid of? After hearing that, could you honestly walk out your door tomorrow and not have a different outlook on life? Could you possibly walk out the door tomorrow and not have a different outlook on life? If you call yourself a believer, your action should be that of a believer. Not somebody who's playing a Christian, but are you a real Christian? Are you walking with Jesus? Will God ever hear one of your prayers? I'm asking you these questions. Let me see what else popped up on at random here. Matthew 10:28, do not be afraid of those who can kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather be afraid of the one who can destroy both body and soul in hell. The apostles have been given a direct warning from Jesus about the persecution and hatred they will face. That hatred will come as they proclaim the truth about Christ. Those who represent him will receive persecution from Jewish religious leaders and Gentile authorities as well. Matthew 10:22-27. Again now, he urges his disciples not to respond to this persecution with misplaced fear. More specifically, he tells them to respond with proper fear. He tells them not to waste their concern on those in authority who can only kill their bodies but cannot kill their souls. Instead, they should reserve that fear for the one who can kill both body and soul in hell. Jesus is describing what the Old Testament often calls the fear of the Lord. This is not intended to abject terror or panic. Rather, this is the healthy kind of fear for which a soldier has for his weapon, or a cook has for the fire on the stove. Godly fear involves great and profound respect, and at the same time, it does not demand we acknowledge that God can and it does demand that we acknowledge that God can utterly destroy those who are against him. This is a right and proper fear. Here, Jesus insists that death should be not avoided at all costs. The death of the body is not the ultimate loss. The death of the body and soul together in hell is the ultimate loss. The message his apostles preach of salvation through faith in Jesus will bring the promise of eternal life in body and soul to many people as well as to themselves. In the following verses, Jesus balances this proper fear with the truth that this same God also cares deeply for his own people. I think I bookmarked one more thing here. I'm in the wrong thing. Hold on. All right. Somebody asked a question. Please explain Matthew 10:28. Well, let's see what they got to say. I love this. I like to see if I'm right. This verse is universally misunderstood because the meaning of the word translated soul has been lost. Christ's statement is demystified once the term is properly defined. The word sush and the Hebrew word nephesh are both translated as soul. Both of these words mean a living, breathing creature in reference to a man or animal. The word soul never refers to something immortal within a man or animal. In fact, you will not find the term immortal soul anywhere in the Bible. On the contrary, God's word clearly teaches that a soul can perish. The prophet Ezekiel was inspired to write twice, "The soul that sins, it shall die." The word soul simply means life pertaining to that of any man or animal. So far, we right on the money. The word life in Leviticus 17:11 is translated from the same Hebrew word for soul. An equally correct way to read this verse is the following: for the soul of the flesh is in the blood. Christ gave his life, the Greek word sush, as a ransom for mankind, Mark 10:45, by pouring out his own soul, his lifeblood, as payment for our sins. As previously stated, soul refers to the physical life of an animal or person. No man can destroy both the physical body and the soul, the life. However, God can. On another occasion, Christ stated the same thing, and I say to you, my friends, do not be afraid of those who will kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do. But I will show you whom you should fear. Fear him who, after he is killed, has the power to cast into hell, the lake of fire, the second final death. Luke 12:45. Men can destroy one's physical life, but this is only the first death. Hebrews 9:27. However, God has the power to both grant life and to temporarily or permanently remove it, just as he has the ability to raise back to life those killed men. He also has the power to take life in a manner no human being can. If he deems a person unworthy to be in his kingdom, he will condemn that person to be totally destroyed in a lake of fire, which is the second death. There will be no resurrection for those in the lake of fire. Revelation 20:14-15, Malachi 4:10. Both the body and life soul of anyone who refuses to repent of his sins will be destroyed forever. The meaning of Christ's statement was that we are not to confront our lives to the appeasement of those who may threaten us, but rather to God's will. Please read Acts 5:29. If one dies at the hands of men, it will only be a temporary death. If God kills a man, it will be for eternity. Let's take a look at Acts 5:29. Wait a minute. I see it here, but it's not showing it. Oh, then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. We ought to obey God other than men. We ought to obey God rather than our own parents once we get old enough to learn the truth. We ought to obey God, not our mayor. We ought to obey what Jesus and God say before we do what the president say. Remember, our last time together, we talked about giving Caesar what is Caesar's and giving God what is God. If you have to pay taxes, then pay your tax. But that don't mean put that in front of what God wants you to do. If the law says you must get a vaccination, If that vaccination interferes with what Jesus or God wants you to do, then you shouldn't do it. If your boss wants you to do something on the job or for the job, Jesus and God don't agree with it, you shouldn't do it. But if it's something that you must do, ask Jesus the God and their permission first. And ask them to forgive you for doing it. And repent. If it's something that you must do. Some people believe they shouldn't vote. And they'll try and talk you, well, you know, you supposed to be a Christian, where you going to vote? Give the government what is the government, and give God what is God. God wants your faith and trust and love. God doesn't care about a car. He'll care how you get it. But if you earn it the right way, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having a nice place if you earn it the right way. If you're doing a whole bunch of shady stuff to get it, Jesus and God might have an issue with it. Learn to balance. But never put the fear of man above the fear of God. Never the two should meet. You should always fear God first. And anytime you take an action, you should ask yourself, what would God think about this? What would Jesus do in this situation? And ask him. They'll tell you. Anybody have any questions? Anybody? Hello? Mm-hmm. Anybody still here? Dang, it's going to be 94 degrees tomorrow, boy. This bad weather ain't going away. I just realized our timestamps ain't showing up. There they are. Is it showing up on the OBS? Yeah, they're showing up there. Okay. It's not showing up here either on my chat. Nia said it's 7 viewing. Well, y'all, it's 11:16, so those of you that know my other channel, I'm going to go over there until 12 o'clock. I got some video of my ride yesterday. We'll show that. So if y'all want to come over there and hang out with me, I appreciate it. Let me give y'all the link real quick for those that don't know. When is that person going to get out of that list? That's been a long time. All right, this is the Linky Dink. If y'all want to come over there, we'll hang out till 12 o'clock. Couple of things I'm going to talk about, and also we're going to look at the video from yesterday, because I'll probably go out tomorrow, and so we'll have another video clip. Matter of fact, I tested. Well, we'll talk about it on another channel. Meet me over there on the other channel. Give me 5 minutes, y'all. I'll be right back on the other channel. Peace, everybody. Thanks to everybody that watched. As Nia would say, see you soon. As I say, I'll see you later. Thanks for the donation, Sam. Thanks for coming, Liz and Nia. And I'll see y'all on the other channel. Peace, everybody. God bless you all, and we out.